Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Searle, joined by Alex. Lord, the Braves offense stunk it up, except for guess what? How many times do we sit here and say the same damn thing? Marcell Ozuna hit a home run. Max Fried or Chris Sale tossed, or Ronaldo Lopez tossed an absolute gem, and the Braves won by one run. I mean, it seems like I bet you if you went back and looked, that's won us like 5 or 6 games. Like those three
I
guys.
have a stat. I have a stat for you. I don't remember. I think Grant McCauley, somebody on the Braves beat, tweeted it out that in the month of May, giving up three runs or less, we're 12-0. Giving up 3 runs or more, we're 0-12. We're 12-12 this month.
Yeah, that was from B Outliers on Twitter. I want to give him a shout out because I saw that stat. I thought that was a good stat. Almost an unbelievable, almost an
Yeah.
unfathomable stat right there. But I want to talk about Max Fried because we talked, kind of about him pricing himself out last week and over the weekend. We talked about it 2 times, but he once again turns in 8 innings of, he sprinkled some hits, but it just like, it almost seems like he knows exactly where to throw the ball to induce a ground ball. Like, there's something about Max Fried right now. Like, it's not like he has strikeout stuff, right? Like, he has all the stuff to be a strikeout pitcher, but it's almost like he's figured out, like, oh, I can just like work so much more efficiently if I just spot it right here. And this guy's going to hit a ground ball into a double play and get out of a jam. And it's like, yeah, I'll read back and get a strikeout if I need it. But if I don't need it, I'm going to go out there and get ground balls and work efficiently. I can't remember a time where guys been this efficient, like, right? Like, he's goes 8, 7, 8, 9 innings, no hits, whatever. It's pretty incredible stuff, man. And that price tag, buddy, oh my God, it keeps skyrocketing, dude.
Yeah, the repertoire has grown. He, in terms of like him as a pitcher, and that's why getting into the contract stuff for this reason that the Braves or any team should be comfortable with Max Fried pitching well into his mid to late 30s and doing it well, is because each offseason it seems he comes back with another gadget, something in his pocket, whether it's an actual pitch, just more understanding the nuances of how to pitch, like you said. Yeah, and that price tag keeps going up. I mean, there's no reason to believe he's going to get less than $30 million per year. Now the years, I think that's where you really get into it, where he'll be 30 years old, and if you really think that he, like I said, I feel like Max is aging like a fine wine. Like each year, he just comes back with another pitch or a different approach to a pitch. And it's unbelievable. I mean, whether he gets 7 years or 10 years, I think it's going to be right there around $30 million per year.
Yeah, I mean,
If
I
he's
completely
healthy,
agree.
health
About the only knock you can say on Max Fried is the health, right? Like,
Right.
it quite literally is the only health, and it's really not like he's had like major injuries. It's just been like the constant nagging blisters and crap like that. Like, he hasn't had like significant injuries. I mean, over the last 5 years, it's not debatable who the best left-handed pitcher on the planet has been from a consistency purpose. I mean, he has a second place finish in the Cy Young, a fifth place finish in the Cy Young. At this rate, he's going to be right there. He's easily the best left-handed in terms of consistency and maybe even just in overall. Yeah, he's the best left-handed pitcher. But let's read off some names right here. I got a few to consider when you're talking about price points on what this next potential contract will look like. So Zach Wheeler just got 3 years, $126 million. I actually think like Zach Wheeler to me is almost like a right-handed Max Fried. He's a little bit more of a strikeout pitcher, but in terms of their consistency from year to year, ever since he got to Philly, and they both kind of got really good at the same time. Zach Wheeler reminds me a lot. So 3 for 126. The difference is, he just signed that extension. He's 33 years old. Max Fried's going to be 31. So I think he's going to be looking at bigger than that. You have Jacob DeGrom, 5 for 190. He got that at 34 years old. DeGrom, obviously a better pitcher, but at 34 years old, though, and think about the injuries that guy had.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to say Max Fried, Jacob DeGrom, but talk about it. When you include injury history and you include the fact that he's 34 years old, Max Fried's going to get more than that. Garrett Cole, 9 years, $324 million. That's $36 million a year. I don't think he's quite Garrett Cole. Like, I don't think he's quite going to get that money. But I don't think it's going to be that far off. I really don't. Like, I don't think it's going to be that far off. Tyler Glasnow, 3 for 97.5 extension. That guy's been injured more. He's a glass house over there. A great pitcher when he's healthy, but way more injuries than Max Fried. Rodon, 6 for 167. Now, this is a 30-year-old left-handed pitcher that was coming off a big year, 6 for 167. That's not even like he is going to blow that out of the water. That's like if someone comes and offers him that and I'm Max Fried, I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking Carlos Rodon money. I have had a way better track record. I've been way better for longer, and I'm a better pitcher. Like I'm a better pitcher. So I think anything you're considering 6 for 167, like that's the very, very bottom of just getting a conversation starting without completely insulting him.
Yeah, and yes, I think that would just be the initial offer that you give him, and the Braves might not be the back and forth kind of negotiators that some other teams are. It seems to be that Alex Anthopoulos kind of, him and his team in the front office, that they figure out their number, and they may budge a little bit for, a special player, which Max Fried is a special player. But it feels like they're going to offer their best offer, generally speaking, or close to it right there. And that's, like you said, that just gets the ball rolling. And then Max Fried's agency is going to come back with, more years and a higher AAV. So if you get 6 for 167, they're going to come back for like, 8 years, $30 million per year. That's $240 million total. And then, maybe work your way down to 7 years, 210 million. That's still 30 million or just under 210 for 7 years. I don't know where that middle ground is. And I think what's so unpredictable about Max Fried's impending free agency is two things. Is obviously the health concerns. There's no telling what's going to happen from now until the end of the season, but also the starting pitching market is finicky. Like if there's a big need for a lefty guy who you need at the top, teams will overpay. They have no problem overpaying for a southpaw ace. And today's market, we could be way off.
Yeah, I mean, I think 7 for 210. Like I said, 6 for 167 is the lowest you can go without insulting him. Like if you go any lower than that, like he doesn't even pick up the phone. Their agencies are done. Those negotiations are over, right? 7 for 210, I think, and this is all just obviously speculation. I think that's the lowest number you could possibly expect him to get. Assuming he stays healthy, that's the lowest you could possibly expect. I think more realistically, you could get into the 8 for 230, 9 for 250 range, especially if he goes out there and finishes first or second in the Cy Young race, which he very well could, or even another top 5 finish and postseason success too. If he goes out there and is like the ace, like let's say he has a Steven Strasburg kind of run in the postseason right before Steven Strasburg got there. I think he signed something crazy, and that was also 5 years ago. Was it 8 for 240, something like that? Like that's something that Max Fried, he has a big postseason to go along with this big regular season, because that's one of the outstanding question marks. I mean, I don't think you're getting him less than 250. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, they just gave Yamamoto, a guy who's never pitched. I know he's 25 years old. That guy never pitched in the MLB, got $325 million. Now he's a good pitcher. I'm just saying, like 5 years of success, and he finished this off the right way. And if I'm the Braves, the question is, do I go do that? Because we've never done anything like that. But you got to think about Charlie Morton. You got to think about like that's going to be money in your pocket, right? You got to think about, Chris Sale's not going to be around forever. Now you have an injured Spencer Strider. Like if there's anything you're going to spend money on, right, it's got to be a big time starting pitcher. And, Max Fried could finally be the guy. Like, could he finally be the guy they say, screw it, we need this guy. We need this guy. I think a lot of it depends on how he finishes this year. If we go win a World Series and you let that guy walk out the door, there's going to be riots. I understand it might be the right thing. I'm just saying, you go do it again. You do the whole thing again, especially with a big a need at starting pitcher.
That's the thing.
It's going to be riots.
It's different. It's the same, but it's different because position players, though Freddie Freeman is not easily replaced, and the same could be said for Dansby Swanson. The starting pitcher market It's not even in the same conversation as the shortstop market or the first base market. And then everybody needs a starting pitcher, and especially a lefty ace start. I mean, those don't grow on trees. And even like acknowledging the bit of injury troubles and the lack of postseason success, I think teams and clubs are going to overlook that no matter what. They're like, I don't care. I've seen Max Fried absolutely, Cy Young candidate stuff. And we need that. I think that if you're the
And getting
Braves,
better, as you said, getting
that's what I
better.
said. He's aging like a fine wine, and his stuff and his mentality, it feels like it's just going to age perfectly into his mid to late 30s. And then if you're a team who absolutely needs that guy, and you believe that he is that integral piece that's going to put your rotation, your team over the top, yeah, I'll go ahead and up the Braves offer by 10, 20, 30, 40 million dollars and give you an extra year or two. I think that if the Braves right now, the highest paid guy on an AAV, Austin Riley, 20 something million dollars. Max Fried's going to get 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 million more than Austin Riley is per year, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even counting on the fact that someone could blow him out of the water and just want him and literally go close to
10 for 300.
Like, I don't think it's that ridiculous, because you've seen a bunch of pitchers go into their 40s and pitch well. I mean, Verlander, Scherzer, Garrett Cole's getting up there in age. There's a lot of guys that are Charlie Morton. So there's a lot of guys getting up there that have pitched really, really well. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it could be a shocking number. And I don't know if the Braves, they don't normally do shocking numbers, so that's unfortunate. But coming up after the break, let's give a little preview of Spencer Schwellenbach and what he's going to do. A new pitcher, and this could play a role in how they approach the Max Fried if he comes out here and shoves for the rest of this season.